so they get flat on one side and they don't vibrate evenly, so the pitch changes. They call that going false.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be really neat.
What that allowed me to do too, the pegs don't fit real well,
Uh-huh.
but it allowed me to wind the strings towards the peg box, so that pressure helps hold them in. So it should keep it from slipping. I don't know if you remember that first day when I tightened them and they kept slipping.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Some
what
of
the
that is
treatment for that is, though.
some of it's because the ebony dries out, but also the pegs, they've been used a lot, so they're not. You can see how these are sticking way through. See how that's usually when they're fit, it's flush. This little end is, if it's properly fit, it's going to be flush to the peg box. After you turn them, it's not so much the pegs that where it's the hole gets bigger and the pegs go through. Ebony is a much harder wood than the spruce of the scroll.
Okay.
So, but the pegs do wear also, and so they get kind of uneven, almost like an oval shape, and they need to be refit. But what you can do, there are a number of things you can put: some chalk or what they call peg dope, or lava soap, which has pumice in it. Pumice helps hold. Or you can wind the strings so they go to the edge, and that adds pressure to hold the peg in a little bit.
God, that's a
so
lot.
it's just little tricks.
Man, incredible.
Tuned it. Other than that, I showed it to a luthier, and he talked about, he's a guy who's going to be really nitpicky. So he talked about, you could probably push this in and glue it and clamp it, but he would want to pop the rib and shorten it because it's warped and it's extended.
Yeah, and you were like, well,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be like
Yeah.
at your highest quality, but he's a luthier. And
Yeah,
he's like,
he-
well, I'm not going
he's-
to do a job.
He works on Strads. He works on $14 million violins. And we talked about, I wanted to get him to cut a new bridge, but he said that when we do all of this work, the shape of the top is going to change a little bit, and so the feet won't fit the same. So I says, okay. But also the nut is worn. The strings are digging into the ivory nut. It's kind of thin. It's something we'd replace. Probably a new set of pegs, shorten the rib. We didn't really find anything else.
Do you think we could hear it a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Will you bow it?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, and I got you a wooden bow. This is actually a viola bow. It's a fiberglass viola bow. So I have that's the inventory number. We just peeled that off.
Oh, okay.
This is an extra one that I had at that shop, and they're not doing anything, and I don't need it, so you can have it.
Woo!
It's not a fancy one, but and then I got you a shoulder rest because if you're going to play it, especially older folks, meaning anyone past their, for violin past their teens, we're not as flexible, so shoulder rest helps. And I haven't practiced in 6 months really, so.
Well, that's okay. Woo! That sounds beautiful.
Little Carmen.
It has a really big sound.
Yeah, it does. And it has a nice sound. I thought it was going to be a little weaker because it's got kind of a thick top. Although
And that tends to absorb some of the vibration.
Yeah, although it looks like somebody thinned it here. Can you see that it's got some fatigue? One of the things, see how this is even? And on this side, this wing dips well below. So it looks like at some point somebody probably took the top off and took some wood out, which gets it to sound different. But if you do too much, or it's soft wood, this may be, because it looks like a revarnished German commercial instrument. So it might have been some lower quality soft wood, and in that case, it'll sound good for a while, but the top starts to fatigue. What's interesting, when I was working at the shop, we had Einstein's old violin, one of them. He had two.
No.
We had one of his violins. I actually sold it to a physicist. And
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It wasn't a great violin, but Einstein took the top off and took wood out.
You're kidding me.
No. And he never put it back together. Yeah, he never put it back together.
Did Einstein ever practice the violin, do you think?
Yeah, oh yeah. He just wasn't good at it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so that violin wasn't worth much, but I sold it to a physicist at from one of the Oklahoma universities, University of Tulsa or someplace like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he did all his research because the only provenance we had on it was a letter from Einstein's niece donating it to the Curtis Institute of Music, and they didn't have a use for it because it was in pieces. So, so he actually found a photograph of Einstein, this old black and white photograph. He mapped the wear patterns in the thing and compared them to the one we had, and he even found out who made it. Guy was pretty.
You know, this like about the 7th or 8th story you told me that just completely blows my mind. And I've only known you for like 6 months. It just sounds like a lot of fun that you've had doing that kind of work.
It was, yeah, for a long time. So this is it. It's a
Will you give it another?
Yeah. Trying to think.
Just so I can hear it. Woo!
Trying to do something fancy, but. So.
That's.
Some Paganini. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I can't really get the vibrato going, so I'm stiff.
Well, you have to warm up. All right. So now come stand next to me, Sufjan. Maybe we can get us all in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and
play something?
Yeah. Let's see. Get in close. Nice. Just because, you know what? I'm going to send this video to my dad. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you.
No problem.